Fatima, Russia and the Holy Face. The Catholic High Priority Fatima Marian apparition, in 1917. Who remembers the message of Fatima, with the miracle of the sun seen by 100,000 people? The newspapers were full of it in 1917. The promise was that Russia should converse if it would be dedicated to the Immaculate Heart of Mary. That was supposed to happen quickly. Jesus appeared 3 times at Fatima. As a child, carried by his mother, also with both his earthly parents. And as an adult Jesus who blesses us. We can see the 2 signs here that are united in the experience of Saint Therese de Lisieux. Namely, the childhood of God and the holy face of God. Saint Therese, the childhood of God and the holy face, was her monastic name. These 2 names are a concise theology that clarify each other. Both relate to how Jesus is seen in faith, God who becomes human and God who shows himself to us. This experience brings the Church of East and West closer together in Jesus' legacy of the deification of man. 1 John 3 says, "Now we are already children of God, and it is not yet revealed what we will be. But we know that when he is revealed, we will be like him, for we shall see him as he is." This, particular to be candidly expressed in icons and Holy Communion, as visible and tangible sign of Jesus among us. We have heard that the promise in Fatima was that Russia should converse, if dedicated to the Immaculate Heart of Mary. But the dedication was always postponed or weakened. Russia stayed long under atheistic regime. Pope John Paul II has ultimately done the dedication. Titular Bishop of Russia, Bishop Niliko, was secretly praying at the Kremlin at the moment of consecration of Russia to the Immaculate Heart of Mary. He left a miraculous medal at the spot. Nowadays Russia shows itself as a Christian nation after all this time of atheism. Mary was received under the title Tsarina of Russia. President Putin is emerging as convinced believer. At a visit to Pope Francis, Putin wanted to bring Fatima to the table. Russian delegations in advance eagerly tried to win information on the subject at Fatima connoisseurs. Unfortunately, the subject was not placed on the agenda by the Vatican. Fatima apparently has the attention of Russia. Russia posted their key icons several times at Fatima for the last few decades. In 2003 and 2014, the icon of Port Arthur, together with another significant Dresdner icon, were brought to the Portuguese city of Fatima, where the Catholic High Priority Fatima Marian apparition was registered in 1917. Our Lady of Port Arthur, also known in Russia as Theotokos upon Sorton, the Far Eastern Gatekeeper, is an Eastern Orthodox icon, representing the Virgin Mary with the mandolin, the holy face of Jesus, and God the Father, flanked by 2 angels. And above him is a radiant inscription, "Let there be one flock and one shepherd." The Virgin Mary trampled double-edged swords, and above her in the clouds, the angels hold the royal crown. Behind her on the coast, in a fog, was a city that was fiercely lit. The icon is associated with the vision of an old veteran sailor, Fyodor Katansky, who came to pray in the Kiev-Pechsk monastery on December the 11th, the year 1903. In his dream, the sailor reportedly saw the Virgin Mary, who warned him about the upcoming Russo-Japanese War. Mary instructed to make an exact depiction of the vision, and to deliver it to Port Arthur, so that the Russians would gain her patronage and protection in the war. Following the onset of the Russo-Japanese War, the devotees donated money for materials needed for making the icon. The image itself was painted by icon painter Pavel Stronda in 1904 according to the sailor's vision. The icon, however, was not delivered to Port Arthur in time, and the siege of Port Arthur followed. Only a small printed version was delivered, much too late. The Orthodox people explained all these failures by the fact that the printed copies, however good they may be, cannot possess the miraculous power of a real icon. The war in general ended with Russian defeat. For this reason the icon is also called the unachieved victory. Nonetheless, the icon continued to be venerated, and 6 copies were made. The icon was considered lost for more than 90 years. In 1998, Christian pilgrims from Vladivostok came to Jerusalem and fortuitously saw the icon in an antique shop. Expert examination confirmed its identity. The icon was bought and brought back to Russia. The original icon can be found now in Vladivostok in Pokrovsky Church. The feast day of the Theotokos of Porta is on the 29th of August. The second icon, Our Lady Dresdnija, the Sovereign, the reigning icon, is a Russian icon dating from the 18th century. The reigning icon remains one of the most revered. Copies of the reigning icon of the Mother of God can now be found all over the world. The icon was originally venerated in the Ascension Convent, in the Chitolgy neighborhood near the Moscow Kremlin. In 1812, as Napoleon Bonaparte's Grand Dame approached Moscow, during the French invasion of Russia, the icon was taken to the village church in Kolomyinskyi, for safekeeping and subsequently forgotten until 1917. At the end of the February Revolution of 1917, on the 2nd of March 1917, Tsar Nicholas II of Russia abdicated the throne after riots in Petrograd. That same day, Fatima Adrianova, a peasant woman from the village of Perva, dreamed that the Blessed Virgin appeared, and instructed her to travel to the village of Kolomyinskyi, where she would find an old icon, which will change color from black to red. Upon her arrival, the parish priest took Fatima at her word, and together they found, in an old storage room, an icon covered with candle soot. As they took the icon outdoors, the sunlight revealed that the Mother of God was wearing the scarlet robes of a monarch. She also wore the imperial crown and held a scepter and globus cruciger, the symbols of regal authority. These are the icons brought to the Portuguese city of Fatima in 2003 and 2014, where the Catholic High Priority Fatima Marian apparition was registered in 1917. Note here that Fatima and the icons bring a message of peace, hope and love, and also of conversion and protection of Russia. The unity of the Church as one flock and one shepherd is asked. Russia now accepts the Mother of God as her Tsarina, and developed itself as a Christian country. That the icons together bear the child God, Jesus, and the Holy Face. That this experience of the Holy Face, the childhood of God and the role of the icons are important for unity. It brings the Church of East and the West closer together in Jesus' legacy of the deification of man.